Not just in relationships, but in life, in opportunities, in the strength we think we will always have tomorrow. We assume people won't change, we assume time won't run out, and we assume the universe will keep giving us the same chances again and again. But life doesn't work like that. Everything you have today, your support, your peace, your energy, your relationships, exists because you are choosing it right now. The moment you stop choosing it, the moment you take it for granted, it begins to fade. In these 5 minutes of clarity, I want you to realize something powerful. Nothing in your life is permanent unless you consciously protect it. You don't lose people because destiny steals them. You lose them because you stop showing up with gratitude, presence, and awareness. You stop noticing the little things. You stop appreciating who stood by you when nobody else did. You stop valuing the quiet strength someone gives you because you assume they'll always stay even when you stop caring. But everything, love, respect, peace, even loyalty, requires your energy to stay alive. And the same is true for your dreams. You assume your passion will always be there. You assume your motivation will always be there. You assume you'll start tomorrow because tomorrow feels like a guarantee. But tomorrow has never been promised. The idea that you have unlimited time is an illusion that kills more dreams than failure ever has. In just 5 minutes, your entire life can shift if you stop assuming and start acting. Peace is exactly like that. People think peace is something the world gives them, something circumstances create, but peace is something you protect. Peace is something you choose. Peace is something you fight for, not with anger, but with clarity. When you assume your peace will always stay, you let the wrong people stay longer than they should. You let negativity enter without resistance. You allow disrespect to feel normal. You keep forgiving someone who isn't sorry because you assume they'll change on their own. But peace disappears the moment you stop guarding it. This is why 5 minutes matter. 5 minutes of honesty with yourself. 5 minutes of silence where you admit what you've been avoiding. 5 minutes of courage where you accept that something has to change. That is the moment when the impossible becomes possible. That is the moment when your aura shifts, when your energy rises, when you finally stop living in assumptions and start living in awareness. Don't assume anyone will always be there. Not your loved ones, not your mentors, not your friends. Appreciate them while they are. Value them while they stand beside you. Show up for those who show up for you. And don't assume opportunities will wait for you. Don't assume your potential will stay untouched. Use the time you have. Protect the energy you carry. Because the truth is simple. The things you cherish will stay only as long as you actively care for them. And right now, in these few minutes, life is giving you a choice. Continue assuming or start awakening. Choose awareness. Choose presence. Choose peace. Because the moment you stop taking things for granted is the moment your life finally begins to change. Your energy responds to what you focus on, and when you take someone's presence for granted, you unintentionally disconnect from the very force that keeps your life balanced. You start believing that support, love, encouragement, or even loyalty is a permanent feature, something that will remain no matter how careless you become. But life doesn't follow that rule. Nothing in your aura stays strong when you stop acknowledging it. Nothing stays aligned when you stop appreciating it. Your aura is a living field of energy. It grows when you show gratitude, when you stay aware, and when you value what is right in front of you. But the moment you assume someone will always stay, your focus drifts. You stop paying attention. You stop giving the energy that once created connection, peace, and understanding, and slowly, silently, the energy between you and the other person shifts, not because they changed first, but because your aura stopped recognizing them. That is how people drift apart without ever saying a word. When you overlook someone who consistently shows up for you, you are not just losing a person. You are weakening the frequency that once protected you. That person wasn't just a presence. They were a part of your emotional support system. They contributed to your clarity, your direction, your confidence. And when you assume they will stay even when you stop appreciating them, You create a blind spot in your aura. That blind spot is where emotional disruption begins, and it works both ways. Your dreams, your vision, your inner peace, they also respond to your focus. When you assume your inner power will stay with you no matter how distracted or drained you become, your aura begins to dim. You think everything will stay the same tomorrow, that your opportunities will wait, that your potential will always remain untouched. But your aura doesn't work that way. It expands with intention. It contracts with neglect. It mirrors your choices. When you stay mindful, when you nurture relationships that matter, when you protect your peace from negativity, when you take 5 minutes every day to realign your thoughts, your aura strengthens. You begin attracting solutions instead of problems. You begin drawing the right people, the right chances, the right breakthroughs toward you. But the moment you start assuming instead of appreciating, your energy becomes scattered. You attract confusion instead of clarity, heaviness instead of hope. This is why taking someone for granted is never just an emotional mistake, it is an energetic one. The person you assume will always be there has a place in your aura, and when you neglect that bond, your internal frequency loses harmony. They may leave quietly, but their absence creates a loud shift inside you. And sometimes that shift feels like emptiness, restlessness, or unexpected waves of sadness, not because they walked away, but because you stopped valuing the energy they once added to your life. But here's the beautiful part: awareness can transform everything. In 5 minutes of honest reflection, you can reclaim your focus. You can strengthen your aura again. You can reconnect with gratitude, with presence, with the people who matter. You can realign your energy with the reality you want to create. Nothing is truly impossible when your aura is clear, intentional, and protected. So don't assume he'll always be there. Don't assume peace will stay without effort. Don't assume people who care will keep giving without being seen. Focus is power, appreciation is energy, and awareness is protection. You stop listening to your own intuition. You stop noticing the emotional pressure inside you, and you let the chaos of life drown out the quiet truth you already know. The truth that nothing and no one stays when you stop valuing them. And the truth that your inner power only awakens when you finally disconnect from the noise that has been distracting you for far too long. Noise doesn't always mean sound. Sometimes it's the overthinking in your mind. Sometimes it's the doubts whispered by others. Sometimes it's the negativity you've gotten used to. Sometimes it's the comfort that tricks you into believing that certain people will never walk away. You keep them close without realizing you are drifting from your own center. You hold onto their presence without realizing that your own energy is slowly collapsing because you are not giving yourself space to breathe, reflect, or grow. When you assume he'll always be there, you stop paying attention to the subtle shifts. You ignore the signs. You overlook the moments when he needed support too. You think the connection will stay strong even if you don't nurture it. But relationships, no matter how meaningful, become fragile when drowned in emotional noise. And your inner power becomes scattered when you don't create silence to understand what's happening. Removing noise isn't about pushing people away. It's about removing the distractions that keep you from actually seeing who is real, who is loyal, and who is silently slipping away. It is about becoming present enough to appreciate the person who stands by you. It is about noticing the small ways they care. It is about valuing their presence instead of assuming their patience is endless. Silence reveals what noise hides, and sometimes that silence tells you the truth. He won't stay forever if he isn't seen, appreciated, or understood. No one stays in a place where they feel invisible. The more noise you allow into your mind, the more blind you become to the person who has been emotionally consistent. And slowly, without drama, without warning, he will distance himself, not because he wants to leave, but because you stopped noticing him long before he walked away. But silence also reveals your own forgotten strength. Your aura becomes clearer. Your decisions become cleaner. You start protecting your peace instead of letting the world decide how you feel. When you remove the noise, you reconnect with your inner power, the power that helps you speak truthfully, love sincerely, and appreciate deeply. That is the power that prevents you from taking anyone for granted. In that quiet space, you realize how precious presence is. You understand that true connection requires attention, effort, and awareness. You see how easily you can lose someone by assuming they'll never leave, and you see how fast your life can transform when you choose clarity over chaos. 5 minutes of silence can save a relationship. 5 minutes of honesty can protect your peace. 5 minutes of reflection can show you who truly matters. That small moment is where strength is built, where healing begins, and where the impossible becomes possible. Don't let the noise blind you. Don't assume anyone will endure forever. Remove the distractions, reconnect with yourself, and value the one who values you. Life is not built in a day, and neither are relationships, dreams, or peace. Everything that matters, the people who support you, the opportunities that come your way, the clarity and calm within your mind, requires daily attention. To assume someone will always be there without putting in consistent effort is to invite disappointment, loss, and regret. Small moments of presence, appreciation, and conscious action accumulate into a reality that feels unstoppable, but neglect them, and even the strongest bonds and brightest dreams begin to crumble. Consistency is deceptively powerful because it works quietly, often unnoticed until its impact becomes undeniable. 5 minutes a day, 5 minutes of genuine effort, awareness, and care can create momentum strong enough to shift the course of your life. If you assume someone will always be there, you stop showing up for them in meaningful ways. You stop checking in, listening deeply, or appreciating the subtle ways they contribute to your life. That negligence may seem small, but over time it builds a gap that no apology or explanation can fully close. People don't leave all at once. They drift gradually, step by step, until one day they are gone. The same principle applies to your dreams and your inner peace. You cannot assume they will sustain themselves without your consistent care. The magic of small, consistent actions lies in their cumulative power. 5 minutes every day of mindful presence with someone you care about strengthens your relationship far more than sporadic grand gestures. 5 minutes of gratitude, reflection, or reassurance can prevent misunderstandings, heal minor hurts, and reinforce trust. 5 minutes of focused effort toward your dreams keeps you aligned with your goals, protects your energy, and prevents doubt from taking root. When you assume someone or something will always be there, you skip these small, vital steps, and slowly, imperceptibly, the foundation beneath you weakens. Consistency also protects your aura. Your energy expands and attracts abundance when it is intentionally directed. When you consistently nurture yourself, your relationships, and your dreams, your energy radiates strength, clarity, and confidence. When you assume and neglect, your aura dims. It becomes reactive instead of proactive. You start relying on assumptions rather than creating realities. You begin to notice people leaving or opportunities passing by, and you wonder why the world seems against you. The truth is simple. The universe responds to your actions, not your assumptions. What you consistently give energy to is what grows, what you neglect fades. The lesson is clear. Don't take presence, peace, or potential for granted. Show up, even in small ways, every day. Value the people who invest in you. Invest in your own growth and well-being. Protect your peace by reinforcing it daily. Protect your relationships by acknowledging, appreciating, and being present. Protect your dreams by taking consistent steps, even if they feel insignificant. In time, these small, intentional moments compound, turning what once felt impossible into reality. The impossible is not achieved in one moment of luck or a single grand effort. It is achieved in the steady, persistent attention you give to the things that matter. Assuming he'll always be there is a mistake, but awareness and consistency can reverse it. Protect what matters, show up every day, and turn small minutes into lifelong results.